This week, we're going to be talking about game mechanics, if you can believe it or not. We're so used to being force-fed ships, we're not going to be diverted by anybody trying to sell us ships.
So, what did we learn this week? We learned that the 300 series is looking to reclaim its spot atop the list of best-looking spaceships in the galaxy.
Bullshit.
I don't know how he got in there. We're going to talk about manufacturing and building. Yes, I know. Some of you are thinking there is no building in the game. It's not spec'd for the game, but we're going to get into a little bit of theory crafting. And I know that word sometimes makes people just want to... the facts and a little bit of what we want in the game, in the design, after these messages. No. That's not us. That's not us after these messages. Today's video has been brought to you by the generous patrons of the games who make continued content on the games possible. The game's patrons enjoy monthly giveaways like Steam gift cards, Star Citizen packages, and any game that you want giveaways. Please consider donating just $1 if in any way you enjoy the game's content. Thank you. Yes, I'm keeping my headphones on. Happy Memorial Day. I'm in the middle of recording, editing, and having to be somewhere for a cookout. A lot of you have seen this already, so you can fast forward past this part. But for people that are new, I think it's important that they understand just the basics of the economy and manufacturing nodes, which are areas that are going to be placing orders, primarily NPC controlled. There is an option for players to run them. I will show you after this video the statement that says that. Let's watch this first.
The economy itself, first of all, in Star Citizen is completely dynamic. So the player's actions are going to be affecting the supply and demand and the prices. So a lot of the missions that are generated for players to take, or even AI to go and do, are created by the economy system itself. To give you an example, if you have a weapons factory sitting on a planet and it requires 3 tons of metal alloy and 1 ton of high explosive and 1 ton of electronics to create 20 missiles in a game turn. That factory will create a mission out on the mission boards, which we'll have like in a system, and that will propagate to other systems at sort of the speed of communication in the Star Citizen universe. And it will say, hey, look, I need 3 tons of steel alloy, 1 ton of high explosive, 1 ton of electronics, and who wants to take them? And so in that case, a player could look at the mission board and go, oh, look, there's a mission to take 3 tons. Okay, I'll take it, and fly in with the alloy. And if the player doesn't do it, an AI will take it and fly the stuff in. And along the way, if that player or the AI get attacked by a pirate and they don't make it through, then the goods aren't getting to the factory. The factory doesn't have the materials it needs to make the missiles, so it can't produce missiles that turn. Now, if people are buying missiles in that system, the inventory on the show floor will dwindle and they won't have any more missiles, which will mean the supply's low, so the demand's high. Prices will probably go up. Now, that factory will probably say, I have a pirate problem on my getting my raw materials, so it will create a mission with the Mercenaries Guild and says, I need you to go and clear out the pirates that are attacking this stuff, or I need you to be an escort ship escorting these alloys in. So that creates missions for mercenaries there. So players' actions as a pirate or as a trader could affect what's happening in the economy. The pirates could be strangling supply to planets, or other people could be blockading it, and then if supplies aren't getting through, that planet will be creating missions to get supplies or get people to open the blockade. So basically the economy itself is generating a lot of the action, and the missions are going on. And by the way, in that combat that you're having, like the pirate that is attacking the merchant ship, well, missiles are getting fired, ships are getting blown up. Well, that's demand on the economy side. So, that means that more missiles will have to be replenished, or a ship has to be replenished. So there's factory nodes on planets making the ships. And so it all is kind of balanced. Hopefully from that you can sort of see how the economy, and the fact that it's dynamic, is generating missions for other players, or generating missions for AI, is creating supply and demand and consumption and production.
The facts are that primarily NPCs are going to control what are called manufacturing nodes on planets and moons, and they will be putting orders out for other people to do missions, and most of the economy will be mission based. But there's a lot of industrialists who want more control, making your name as an industry giant. If we go to the second paragraph, this is very interesting here. It says players and organizations who amass enough wealth can take control of individual production nodes and begin building an industrial empire. That is a very enlightening statement. It makes us feel better as industrialists to know that somehow, some way, they will design a gameplay or gameplay mechanics into Star Citizen that will allow people to create their own goods. Now, we're not quite sure how. We got a little eye-opener in 2017 when they produced the Pioneer, another ship sale, right? A ship responsible for allowing us to manufacture what are called outposts. And they introduced this, I believe, in 2017, and it was a big deal. The Pioneer came out and people were like, whoa, colonization. They started to sell plots of land. SIG was like, here, we're going to start selling pieces of land to you. And I believe that the land allotted to those people is protected. I think that colonization is a whole other topic that we should probably avoid on this particular video. Let's stick to the manufacturing for now. And the interesting thing is, in the introduction of the Pioneer, is that it really got a lot of people to think a little bit more about the direction of the design in regards to manufacturing. How are we going to manufacture other than the nodes, right? Well, through ships, obviously. I mean, SIG needs the money, so they're going to produce a ship that's going to enable you to create these outposts that will help colonize the many systems. Okay, now we only have one, but I think that they are designing more under the covers. I won't talk about that too much, but I think that's happening. So interestingly enough, when the Pioneer came out, many people started to talk about manufacturing again. It was short-lived though. People went right back into being hypnotized by the next ship. And I think it's, again, I have to reiterate it. It is important that we start to get the focus onto the mechanics of the gameplay, more details into what it is that we are going to be able to do. We're very cloudy on what we can produce, what we can manufacture, how we're going to be able to. And again, some people are going to say it's way too soon, DG, to talk about these things. No, it really isn't. It's time to do this. Even though they're focusing on Squadron 42 and we want it to be successful, even though you know, they've got to flush out a lot of their glitches, work on the network servers, you know, the NBC network bind calling, the server meshing, this type of stuff. It is still very important. There is 500 plus employees. We have to hammer down the fact that we need the gameplay that we want into the game and not be afraid of people that are going to say, no, you can't talk about this, because if we do not talk about it, it is going to not be in the game, and that is going to be a shame. That is going to be the biggest shame ever, is the game that we love getting squashed down by loud people that never put any ideas out there, that didn't want that, because just because for the sake of the game to get finished, they want to get it finished so fast, right? But they're squashing everybody's imaginations. They're squashing everybody's ability to speak out and say, hey, I would really like these elements within the game.
Albert Einstein, the man who redefined human understanding of the universe, he once said, "The person who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The person who walks alone is likely to find himself in places no one has ever seen before." An insightful sentiment meant to inspire thinkers and creators to push the boundaries of their understanding. It was, after all, said 1,000 years ago, before humanity had left our homeworld. So clearly he was speaking metaphorically. Today, as I just showed you, the unknown is out there, waiting to be discovered. For those that are looking for those places that no one has seen before, they are faced with a daunting challenge. What do you do when you get there? Up until now, it's been the province of governments and corporations to pave the way for sustained habitation. The power has been in the hands of the few. What if I offered you the ability to build your own settlement, to bring civilization to the most untamed of frontiers, a colony ship in the truest sense of the word? But I'm not talking about just transporting people, no. I'm talking about an all-in-one solution designed to build modular structures based on your needs, capable of building a farm or a habitat, a trading post or a mining operation.
So there we have it right there. He basically tells us, yes, in fact, that we can build, that we can manufacture with the Pioneer, which is fantastic. So we have a little bit more insight, that we know we can actually build with a ship at the very least, that we can put outpost structures. We did a video here on the channel. You can type up colonization. It's really cool. We talk a lot about that. We talk about the ability to have your own land. We think that the land that is plotted out will be basically protected, those that bought plots of land, and we talk about basic colonization. It's a good video, but that's what we do here. We like to talk about these particular things because game mechanics are really important to us. But you know, besides kind of half knowing that we'll be able to control manufacturing nodes in some way, in some respect, wasn't necessarily enough. But knowing the fact that we can at least manufacture with this particular ship, that we can do repairs on ships with the Crucible, those types of things make industrialists feel good. And I think there needs to be more of that information on the SIG site, and I think SIG really needs to focus and crack down on more of the game mechanics. People will trying to squelch you, trying to tell your imagination doesn't matter, you know, just stomp down your imagination and say, well, this game needs to come out right away. I say fuck that noise. Don't listen to those people. We know the people that are in the know about Star Citizen know that this game is going to take a long time. Why then would we just say, well, fuck the way we want to play the game, let's just get the game out? That's an absurd comment. That's an absurd line of thinking. We want that type of gameplay. Now let's look at how the Pioneer actually produces or manufactures these outposts. So this is great here, and I'll put this link down below as well in the video. This shows the inside. This is great 3D schematic of the Pioneer and what it intends to do, which is basically hoard resources in the ship. Those resources are then used to piece together these little outpost structures, and then they have these arms that jut out the front of the ship, place them, and it's just a really cool concept ship. I love this. When this ship came out, I was like, wow, this is great. But I really want them to focus a little bit more on game mechanics, like I said. You know, enough of diverting the attention away with another ship sale. Let's really focus on the things that make people want to get involved with the game, and that is to actually have the game be fleshed out with certain types of mechanics. And again, people are going to tell you that it's too early, but I say it's not early enough. Like, we always need to pound down these points. We always need to make sure that SIG are focusing on the actual mechanics that work, or at least expose a little bit of the details that they are working on, if in fact they are working on them. We need a lot more details in regards to what in the hell is going on with some of the other aspects of gameplay. It's super important for industrialists like myself that love PvP and those types of gameplay elements too. Like, it's really important that they speak to that particular audience too. You know, I love the fact that they're going to have this dynamic economy, but they need more information out there that tells us what in fact it is that we're getting ourselves into, rather than here's another ship. I think it's super important that SIG does focus on that. I think it's super important that we in the community also do that as well. So what do we know about manufacturing up to this point in 2019? That we have the ability to get a manufacturing node. We don't know how. Maybe if we become Uber organizations, which is kind of flawed, in my opinion, in thinking and concept and design, to give us nodes only if we are like mega awesome, rich, super billionaire citizens. I'm not quite sure I would agree with that criteria. Or we have the ability to manufacture with the Pioneer. Those are the facts. But let's get into the theory crafting element of it. And the reason why this video is out was the last video where we talked about caves. And the cool thing that we really kind of established when our imaginations got sparked was we could make cool pirate bases in these caves, right? Now, we know we can't fit a Pioneer in there. We know we can't fit these outpost structures in most of the entrances that we saw from the video. Again, more theory craft. But we would like to have the ability to perhaps have equipment that we could take down that would build these smaller kind of structures for us, perhaps walls, perhaps doors, things where we can place inside to create some type of defensive system. We don't want just the ability to like do missions down there. Like, we think that there's going to be missions, which is great, cool. We think that there's going to be some types of resources down there where we can mine, again, very cool. But we also wanted to fortify them as well. It is an element of gameplay that would be very exciting and very immersing. And again, I can hear it in my head. People are saying, dude, quit pushing new ideas into this game. I can't, dude, pushing ideas into this game is what makes this game great. So again, for people that say that, tell them where to go. Seriously, this game's going to take a long time. So I understand the ship sales. I understand they have to keep bringing money in, but at the same time, SIG, start giving us more details, right? Right, everyone? All right. Maybe they don't have it, but I don't think that we've gone this far without them working on it. I do think that there is work being done behind the scenes, and maybe I'll get that into that on the next video. So thank you, everybody. Have a great Memorial Day. It's been a pleasure. I will see you guys on the next vid.